It's a very good morning and welcome to the thrill of the chase. Greyhound racing like you have never, ever seen it before. We are less than 24 hours removed from what was a fantastic night at the Meadows last night, and we have got a whole bunch of stuff to get through over the course of this hour. Liz Whelan joins me as the desk, as always. And Liz, one of your very favourite dogs of all time is going to be our special star today.
I'm very, very excited. Poke the Bear is going to be in the studio. I've already seen him. I've already had pats. It's going to be a great episode ahead.
And James Vandermeer, very much in the Movember spirit as well. Well played by you. That's about a week in and a bit of growth on that top lip.
About 1 week in. Everyone else, this would probably be about 1 day. But I said I'll join Movember about the 20th. It takes me about 20 days to get anything worthwhile. But I'll continue on. I got in a little bit of trouble, actually, last week. I finished up the show and the newlywed wife from home straight away said I left the wedding ring at home. But, darling, it's on this week. It's all good to go.
That's the last thing we need is marital problems here on Thrill of the Chase. We are not qualified to solve any of those things. What did we make of last night? It was a fantastic night, as I mentioned, and it'll be a big part of our show today. What were the key takeaways?
Look, I think for me, one of the interesting things was the first 3 dogs home at Top Gun night were probably the last 3 out of the boxes, but it was a terrific night. It's one of the best Top Gun fields that we've seen in some time.
It was really interesting because we had the 2 winners both come from the back of the field, Jack. They were both 7th in early running and both came out winning the race. So I guess that just makes for an intriguing couple of weeks coming up. We're
going to pull it apart in great detail. Coming up on the show today, one of the leading trainers in the country, Robert Britton, will be with us. Poke the Bear, as Liz mentioned as well. We've got a deep dive into Team Cameron and also start to look ahead to the National Greyhound Draft, which is coming up next week on this very show as well. So a lot to get through. Let's start with the agenda. And you guessed it, it was the Meadows last night and a wonderful, wonderful night of racing. We've touched on it briefly already. Let's start with Get It Gizmo. Just a fantastic performance.
It really was. He came from, I guess, 7th in early running there, Liz, but just was able to poke through into a nice place. And when there was that trouble early, he was the one getting the run and getting the win. And
he's the dog where when he's in front, he's really tough to run down. We saw that in the semi-final of the $1 Million Chase. I think what kills me a little bit is I had him on top for the final of the $1 Million Chase. Last night, I think you're probably a wee bit like me, James. I was very, very keen on Shimmer Shine. That actually hurt watching the race because he nearly got across and then there was absolute carnage.
Well, I've worked on something here, Liz. Let's take a look at this freeze frame. Shimmer Shine, drawn box number 7. He's 3/4 of a length in front at this point.
I was counting my money at this point.
If he crosses there, I think it's game, set, match and he wins the Top Gun. But as it turned out, it wasn't to be. He found trouble and he finished toward the tail of the field. But that's the joys of racing. Get It Gizmo took the run and like Liz said, Jack, if he's in front, there's not a greyhound around that'll catch him.
No, we're not catching him. The Top Gun Stayers last night as well was one of the other prime events on the calendar. And one that we look forward to immensely. Another fantastic performance by Blue Moon Rising.
Yeah, it was a really big performance. And Liz, we see him here. He's back midfield, but he just seems like he's really developed into a regular top-line stayer now. He's finding his way through fields, and I think he announced himself in Sydney a while ago. Of course, he won the Group 1 down here about 6 months ago, but even in defeat, he was brilliant in Sydney behind Boom Down.
He was, because he didn't get all favours then. He had to work. He was nailed on the line. He was outstanding in the heat of the Sydney Cup. He's done a really good job here. Coming in off the ballot as well, Just Terms has gone well. I want to mention Boom Down. I love this dog. He is about 20 lengths back. He is a mile back. He has rattled home for 3rd, and I think Bold Treese, he's definitely one that I'll be looking out for.
Yeah, well, Sandown could suit him a little bit more. Let's take a look at another freeze frame. Look, I don't normally do this, but looking back, we both like Shimmer Shine, we both like Tornado Tears. I think right here at this point in running, Tornado Tears is about to slide through and take the lead from Bago Bye Bye. And Liz, I guess the point I'm trying to make, if we could have bet live in running, Shimmer Shine at the first corner, Tornado Tears at that freeze frame there, they both would have been $1.10.
I totally agree with you. I think what's probably tough is from that vision, we don't know how much of a gap there was or there wasn't for Tornado Tears, because it's hard to know if he was reluctant to take the gap off. The room just wasn't there, because after that he's gone back a few lengths. He's ended up finishing in 4th, but he probably doesn't have that fearless quality that he had earlier on in his career.
Robbie Britton will join us a little bit later on the show as well, in about 10 minutes from now. In fact, let's jump back to earlier in the week to Monday and the Hume Cup final at the Meadows. And this run in particular from True Detective really stood out.
He's just got such a terrific record off box one, and he just continued with that. Chief Fernando set them up out in front as we expected. I was surprised by the fact that he wasn't stronger at the end, but True Detective's been really good. Zipping Potter has been enormous. A few strides past the line is just about got there.
It was a massive run, Zipping Potter. Gave them a massive start, but just charged home. But True Detective, I think, again, if you could bet live in the run, at that first corner when Chief Fernando led, True Detective lobbed his tail. It was game, set, match, 2 strides in.
Baruga Brett is a dog that is gaining some serious credibility around the country at the moment. The Silver Bullet final on Monday night as well at the Meadows. This will just about speak for itself.
How good was this? Simon Told Helen, who I think is going to be an outstanding greyhound, was just rolling along in front. And look at that, right on the line, Baruga Brett nails him. And look, he had no luck in the Top Gun on Saturday night, but what a marvellous greyhound he's been, Liz. And not only has he been a great greyhound, but a terrific training effort as well from Book and Jamie Ennis to get him to where he is.
Totally agree with you. That's been a huge performance. He was another one who was actually up on the pace last night when there was that early trouble in the Top Gun. But he's got a great record here at the Meadows. He's won the Silver Chief, he's won the Tim Lee, and now he's also won the Silver Bullet. I do want to mention as well, I was there on track on Monday night. It was wet. So this race, the trainers and the dogs, they were waiting around for about an hour. They went back 2 races. But I want to say kudos to the track manager, you know, keeping it going. There was a horrible electrical storm, and after all of that, Baruga Brett too good.
And lastly, the Gawler Gold Cup, which was also run at Angle Park. Awesome catch, getting the money here and getting the money in a fairly emphatic style as well. Liz, take us through this one.
I thought this was a really good performance here by Awesome Catch. Jumped pretty well off the 2, found the initial lead. Malinga Jess showed up really well on the outside, but we mentioned last week that we thought Awesome Catch's run in the heat was really good, and he's proven that there. I think he was about $2.80 into $2.10. So yeah, I was happy with that. I may not pick another winner for the rest of the series, so I'll claim it.
Well, you are the only one. We've got our best bets coming up a bit later on the show. You're our only winner from episode 1.
Oh, I'll take that.
The pressure's on now to back it up and do it all again.
I feel like the pressure's off. Like one, that's it. It doesn't matter now.
Oh, well, you can just go away and work on your best bet. That's coming up very, very shortly. It's time to get to the plasma. James is there for the analyser. Wasn't this just an absolute success last week? And he's back for more.
Yeah, well, the analyser felt like a bit of a success, but the tipping maybe not as good of a success. Let's turn our attention to the new implementation of the new lure system. It's a dual lure system now being rolled out throughout the whole of Victoria on all tracks except for Geelong, which of course race with the finish on lure. Now what I've got here is a head-on shot as they turn for home at Sandown Park on the new dual lure system. Now what we're seeing is a line of 5 greyhounds chasing the inside lure. Naturally we've got a couple of wide runners out wide, which we come to expect. I think with the way the system was with the hoof arm, that would have been sitting about here, and what we were getting in the past was greyhounds 1, 2, 3, sometimes 4 and 5 wide, right to the outside, almost on the grass. So I feel with the new system they're chasing better, and I think they're racing better. They're holding their true line. I think it's less pressure on the greyhounds from rolling off the track, and they can actually run where they feel most comfortable. So I think it's a real plus to have the new lure system implemented statewide.
So traditionally we've only ever had one, really, as a rule in greyhound racing. 2, is this going to become something that'll be just commonplace in Australian greyhound racing now, do you think?
Look, I think all of the states seem to do things a little bit differently, but I think this is a fantastic new system because what we're seeing, look, and the leader is Sweet as M, who is naturally a pretty hard railer anyway, but nonetheless, I just think they're racing a lot truer. So I think once the other states see how well the greyhounds are racing behind this lure system, I think there is a big chance that it will be brought out nationwide one day, and hopefully.
And some safety benefits as well, which I think is really important to emphasise here too.
Yeah, well, I think it's, as I said just a moment ago, it's getting greyhounds racing to their true racing patterns. So I think by racing true, they're putting less pressure on their body, and we see it with this replay here. I think it's a real plus.
Nicely done by you, James. Another ripping edition of the analyser. He's 2 from 2, I think.
I'm enjoying the analyser. It could be a new favourite segment.
I think he's enjoying it as well. Liz, another major story from across the week that we want to touch on before the break is the Dapto dogs. They are famous, the Dapto dogs, let's face it, particularly on a Thursday. They've got a cult following, and to go to Dapto is an experience amongst itself. What have you made of a lot of news reports and a lot of legal jargon to try and work our way through from the week as well?
I think it's been a pretty tough week, the Dapto dogs. So basically on Tuesday night, the Dapto Agricultural and Horticultural Society announced that racing at the track would come to an immediate end. Greyhound Racing New South Wales has then sought an injunction. A Supreme Court judge granted that, which meant that racing was able able to go ahead on Thursday. Probably a little bit of a week-to-week proposition. The trials are going ahead tomorrow, but the parties will be back in court tomorrow afternoon. One thing I do want to say, Tony Nesta of Greyhound Racing New South Wales, they were fast. Industry rallied together, and you know, next thing you know, they've got a free barbecue put on for the participants there on Thursday. I've been lucky enough to go to Dapto. It is an outstanding night, and I really, really hope the racing continues there.
Yeah, I think we all agree with that. They can hopefully sort it out, and it's an iconic track, and it can be that way for a long time to come. Behind the Boxes is up next here on the Thrill of the Chase. There's a piece of vision here that I just wanted to highlight to everyone today. Take a look at this. This is the sport for all, as we say, greyhound racing, but this is what you call a captive audience.
How good is this? Camouflage, the greyhound's name is, and have a look at him looking at a race replay from Bendigo. It is adorable to see. He just wants to race again, but unfortunately he's retired now, but he wants to get out there and have some fun, and it's just beautiful to see a greyhound watch tally the way he did and just love racing. It's so good to see.
It was phenomenal. It was great.
I love it. Anyone who says that greyhounds don't want to race need to watch that video.
Yeah, absolutely. You can check it out. We've got more of those details online as well. Liz, what have you got for us for Behind the Boxes this week?
I've got Mitch Abaya. Now, he won a competition recently on social media to help out at the Meadows the last couple of nights. He did a terrific job with the interviews last night and also last Monday. Here he is cheering home a multi, so he also enjoys a punt. Look, he does a great job. He and his dad rear and breed their own pups. He's been involved for a long time. He seemed to know everyone at the track, but I just thought he did a wonderful job. I think even you've bred a litter of pups.
Yeah, we did. We had 2 greyhounds. They weren't overly fast, but they won a couple of races, which was good fun. But what I liked about Mitch in that one, I could just see in the back corner of the shot, they were still turning for home and he was already cheering.
Yeah,
so
he went early.
He went early, but let's hope it actually got home.
Fingers crossed. James, you can finish us off here for Behind the Boxes.
My Behind the Boxes this week is persistence paying off. It's a greyhound that won at Hillsville on Friday by the name of Spot On Mick. Now, at start number 58, he broke through. Now, this is him the week prior on the 4th of November, box number 3. Now, this would have been painful for the connections. He's driven through and look at that, just falls short. And then the week later comes back to Hillsville. They go again, and let's see what plays out for Spot On Mick at start number 58. Drawn box number 7, sailing down the outside of the track. And at this point in time, they were probably thinking, oh, not another second. But as it's turned out, he's driven to the line. He's got the job done. And what a great training effort. It just must be a great hobby for connections because he's clearly not the best money spinner going around. 58 starts, finally breaks through.
Perseverance has paid off.
Oh, perseverance, persistence, everything has paid off. But what I was thinking here, Jack, is this could be a nice little lead for the viewers out there. Have they ever had a greyhound, or do they know of a greyhound that's had more starts without a win? And who knows, maybe it's an AFL side that have had a terrible losing streak, an NBL side, a golfer who just can't hit the ball. I don't know. There's got to be something out there.
You can join us. Hashtag Thrill of the Chase Show on Twitter to get involved as well, and we'll come back to that a little bit later on. Poke the Bear, not too far away. More information on the National Greyhound Draft also coming up. But up next, Robert Britton to join us on the Thrill of the Chase. Welcome back to the Thrill of the Chase. Wonderful to have your company this morning. Coming up very shortly, more details on the National Greyhound Draft. And Liz is very, very excited because Poke the Bear, the star of the show today, will be with us very soon as well. But let's get to another star, Robert Britton, one of the great trainers in Australia right now and training the superstar that is Tornado Tears. He joins us on the Thrill of the Chase. Rob, good morning to you, and 4th last night in the Top Gun Stayers. What did you make of the run?
Yeah, look, I was a bit disappointed because coming off the back, it looked as though the first 3 place getters would run first, second to third, and within a blink they were 4th, 5th and 6th, so it was quite disappointing that there was interference at that point. But at the same time, all credit to the winner, Blue Men Rising. He's always there to stalk and get you if you make a mistake.
And Rob, what are the plans next with Tornado Tears?
Look, I'd like to get a race in before the Bold Trees, which is 2 weeks away. Getting a race is not that easy, but if it's not, it'll be a trial.
Now, Rob, we just see the replay here from last night from the Top Gun stayers. It was just that point again that he just struggled to get through along the inside. Do you feel the older he's got, the more he's just wanting to either find more space or potentially get to the outside?
I think he takes the wrong options. I think there's no way he's going to go round. He tries to take the rails runs, which probably aren't there. It's something you're not going to get out of him. You just got to hope he can get in a situation where there is more room.
He's giving you plenty of joy, Rob, no question about that. Last night didn't exactly go to plan, but he's been a fantastic dog.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, he's not as consistent as he was 12 months ago, but being a stayer, he's probably got another, a lot of stayers run to their 5, so we'll be very happy if he just picks up the odd race here and there.
Now, we can see why. He's named Batman, isn't he, Rob?
Yeah, absolutely. He's got the markings for it.
He's a beautiful dog. He's a son of Fernando Bale. Is that where the colour comes from, the black and white, do you think? I know Fernando Bale was white and brindle, but he does look a black and white version of his dad.
Yeah, look, Fernando Bale throws a lot of coloured dogs, which are great for getting into the gap later on. But as I say, they're pretty dogs.
And Rob, what's he like in terms of his temperament? He looks like he's a pretty calm greyhound.
He's laid back as they come.
Now, Robbie, we move along a little bit to Fanta Bale, the superstar that she was. When I think back to stars of staying racing, I think of the likes of Sweet It Is, Miata, and straight away you go to Fanta Bale. How was it to train a greyhound that really changed the complexion of greyhound racing and stayers? She was just one of those greyhounds that was just loved by the public.
Absolutely. Look, it was a pleasure to train her. And you had to pinch yourself because everything you put her in, she won. And you don't usually get that in racing. I think we're in 10 Group 1s and we won 9 of them. And the last one she broke down, but she's just a wonderful dog.
Rob, we're watching the Sandown Cup final as we speak right now. A fantastic performance as well. And even just that race in itself, I'm sure, brings back a lot of fantastic memories.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a bit of a blur, really. She just kept winning one after another. And the funny part about it, she went into most races as not being favourite. She just used to pull out a little bit more, and I think she was a little bit underrated early in her career.
And Rob, I suppose it's like asking you to choose between your favourite children, but has there been a favourite greyhound for you, or which one do you think is better, Tornado Tears or Fanta Bale? Oh, look, they're both lovely dogs, but it's not always the dog that achieves a lot. Sometimes you've got a favourite dog in your kennel. A dog like Bruce Tycoon that I had 130 starts. We loved him. But, as I said, there's a lot of lovely dogs that come through your kennel over the years.
You've got a beautiful setup there in Lara, there's no doubt about that, Rob. We move along to today because for the punters tuning into the thrill of the chase, they're after a winner. Now, I see you've got 2 in at Sandown Park, the King of Swing and Nadali. Do you give either a chance to win, or is it maybe one of your son's dogs, Tim, who might be one to follow?
Look, I think the 2 you mentioned, they're dogs that are going to make it. They're going to make it. They're very inexperienced. They're not really well boxed today. But in saying that, both have got a bit of pace. And I expect if they get a clear run, they might be hard to beat.
We're just having a look at Nadali's last start now, and he began beautifully and led all of the way. But I just want to quickly touch on your son, Tim, because I saw a race I called at the Meadows on Wednesday, and I think it was about race 2. You defeated him with one of your greyhounds, and then race number 3, he finished higher up the order. How did that feel?
Yep. Yeah, no, look, I don't mind if he knocks me off a few times. I've got to get him out of bed in the morning, so that always helps.
Rob, thanks for joining us this morning. We really appreciate it. It's been fantastic to have you on, and we look forward to what's coming up, not only for the remainder of the year, but we've got the Greyhound Draft next week as well. So thanks for allowing us onto your property this morning.
No problem, guys.
Rob Britton, one of the stars of greyhound racing in this country. The dynamic, the father-son dynamic's becoming an interesting one now, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. And look, he is the master when it comes to staying greyhounds. We go back through the greyhounds. He ran the trifecta in a Sandown Cup. He's just been a superstar when it comes to the long-distance greyhounds. Of course, Tornado Tears, Rip and Sam, the list just goes on. He's a wonderful trainer.
Spoke about the Greyhound Draft. It is coming up next week. We've got more information on that still to come. Poke the Bear not too far away in Molly's Lounge, and a whole lot more on the Thrill of the Chase. Great to have your company on the Thrill of the Chase. It's greyhound racing like you have never seen it before. We'll talk more about the National Greyhound Draft coming up very shortly, and our best bets are still to come. But we are about to head into Molly's Lounge, and Liz, are you okay? Are you calm? You've been looking forward to this one all week.
Like every bone in my body, I just want to run over there right now. I'm very, very excited to poke the bear in the studio.
Stay here. You've got to stay with us. It is time to cross over for the first time today into Molly's Lounge.
Hello, Darren. We're here with Darren and Poke the Bear. Now, we've got Poke the Bear in the studio. Obviously, he was the 2018 TAB Top Gun winner. He's retired now, but Darren, you must have, I suppose, looked back on last night's Top Gun and thought, oh, God, it was special to be a part of it.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. A major thrill for both Dad and myself and for the whole family and obviously the Thompsons as well.
Now, tell us a little bit about Poke the Bear. His kennel name's Fred. What is he up to at the moment?
Look, we're still trying to wind him down a bit. He's still a bit wound up from the racing days. It's been 7 months now since he last raced. Obviously, we had to get over his injury problems and heal him up, which, you know, to Jason Thompson's credit and Shona, and they kept him at home until he was fully recovered, because obviously he hadn't been at my place for quite a while. So we wanted to keep him in his own environment where he was used to it, and they let him recover fully before coming back home, yeah.
Now, what was it like to watch Poke the Bear finally come through for his Top Gun win? He jumped from box 6, I believe, in 2008. He really made an effort of wearing the green rug throughout his career.
Yeah, he did. I think most of his group races were run out of box 6, I think. Look, it was just a major thrill, to be honest, to be racing at that level with a dog of his ability is just a thrill in itself. And to win a good race like the Top Gun was just, exceeded all of our expectations.
Darren, he is a beautiful dog. There is no two ways about that. You could eat dinner off his back. He looks that good. But back in the racing days, he was such a great greyhound to call and just to watch, because he stood out. We saw him win a Terrelgan Cup, and his big white coat just charging around the track. It was just beautiful to watch.
Yeah. Look, he certainly is a very nice dog. Yeah, the white dogs obviously do stand out a little bit, so it's good. And to be honest, we've got a lot of black dogs at the moment. I need to get some more white ones. But, look, just watching any dog run to its full ability, whether it be our dog or anyone else's dog, is a big thrill. Yeah.
Darren, you've bred and owned some outstanding greyhounds. Do you kind of have to pinch yourself over just how well they've done?
Yeah, look, it's certainly a big thrill for us to have bred so many good dogs. And you know, we're lucky enough that we've still been involved in it in some way, even when we sold them. It's funny. It's not about money. It's not about anything else. It's watching the dogs succeed and get to a level they're competitive, and to see them get to that level, at group level, is a major thrill. Yeah. It's
a morning of celebration, Darren. I want to celebrate this a little bit further. Let's all go back to the Adelaide Cup and Hooked on Scotch. Here's something that we can all enjoy.
Leader on the bend, Whiskey Riot. Seneke comes to the outside. Hooked on Scotch, running on. Whiskey Riot, Seneke. Whiskey Riot, Seneke. Hooked on Scotch, flying! Oh my goodness! Hooked on Scotch has absolutely sprouted wings.
And that is exactly what it did. It sprouted wings and came home in extraordinary fashion.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, we thought we were happy just to run third, to be honest. And and after it went over the line, Dad and I looked at each other and just went, "What happened there?" We just didn't know. And just to see him get up was just amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you saw the ANALYSER last week, Darren, on the show, I said if he gets to the outside, there isn't many that can go with him. You do a lot of your greyhounds with your dad. You're in partnership. Yep. It must be a great thrill to be able to share all the big moments moments with him.
Yeah, it is for sure. Look, we put a lot into them, as everyone does in breeding and training. And look, we've only got a small team. We only do it just 1 to 2 litters each time. We try and give them the best that we can. I rear them at home and whelp them down at home, and then they get to an age, and then Dad takes them. He lives in Mulgrave, so just in a suburban block, and he just walks them around the streets and gets them used to different things, and then they'll come back home and get ready for breaking in, and just run through it. Just a little process that we do.
While we're talking about Hooked on Scotch and what a wonderful dog it is, the Geelong Gold Cup. Darren, just take us through that. We've got a bit of vision of this race coming up for everyone to see as well, but just superb, just from start to finish, absolutely wonderful.
Yeah, no, it was. When he jumped where he did, I thought, well, we're a big chance here. And to be honest, the Pink's a very good dog as well. And I saw him out in front. And I thought, well, he's going to have his work cut out to catch him. And to his credit, he sort of did everything right. Yeah.
And Darren, coming up in the next few weeks, you've got the shootout with Hooked on Scotch. You've also got the Melbourne Cup coming up. How are you expecting them to be going?
Obviously the shootout suits his type of racing. It's obviously the 4 dogs, and it works really well with the way he's going. Jason prepared him for that for quite some time, and that's what he's aimed him for. The plan was always to go to the Geelong Cup, the shootout, and then into the Melbourne Cup. We don't want to. He's still a baby, so obviously don't want to over-race him and just get to a point where stick to the plan, basically.
I've got one more question for you, Daz.
Sure.
It's how quick can he go? I know that Jason's confident he can probably well and truly break 29 at Sandown, which is near unheard of. But what he produced on the day of the Speed Star was so fast, Hooked on Scotch, and it was rain-affected ground. He has to be capable of breaking 29.
Yeah, look, we certainly think he can break the record in the right day, and everything, sits the way you want it with the weather and obviously track conditions and everything else. Then we think, he'll go very close to breaking 29. He's already broken the sale track record in a trial. So we know he's got the ability to break track records. Look, he's a very, very quick dog. The answer is we don't know how fast he can go. It's scary, really, to think about what he can do if this is what he's doing at a young age, like in another 6 months' time. And there's other dogs as well, like dogs like Shimmershine, and there's plenty of them around that are in that same age bracket as what he is. And I think it's exciting times for greyhound racing ahead, to be honest.
And Darren, it's very exciting times for Poke the Bear too. Tell me what he's like around the house, and I suppose how you've been transitioning him into life as a pet.
Yeah, look, he's getting there slowly. He's a
little bit more boisterous than our guest last week.
He's getting used to lots of different things. Obviously, little puppies, he wasn't real keen on the little puppies for a while, but he's now used to them bouncing around. I don't know what he thought of him. He used to bark at him a lot and get a bit angry with him, but I think it was sort of like the grumpy old uncle.
What do you think he'll do if we let him go in the studio?
No, I think he'll just walk around. He's all right. Yeah, he's not too bad. He'll just
one way to find out. Let him go.
There you go, mate.
There you go. He's going to get our camera crew. Which a few of them need to be straightened out, I reckon, as well. Darren, thanks for joining us this morning. It's been fantastic having you with us, and good luck for what's coming up for the remainder of 2019.
Thank you.
Still plenty more to come here on the Thrill of the Chase. He's with us now on the desk, so we'll head to a break. The National Greyhound Draft is coming up shortly. And this is the Thrill of the Chase. It's greyhound racing like you have never seen it before. We've got a great feature on Team Cameron coming up very, very shortly as well. But last year was a huge individual day for the sport of greyhound racing. The National Greyhound Draft, it was a long time in the works, and it turned out to be a fantastic day. And the 12 months since has been superb as well. The great news is next week it is back here on the Thrill of the Chase. We will have our 2019 edition of the National Greyhound Draft, and George Ferrugia was a big part of it last year. George, welcome back to the desk.
Good to see you, mate.
It's been a big 12 months, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has. It was really exciting to get new owners involved, and those greyhounds are now starting to race. We've got one in today at Sandown. He's nice and short, James, at about $1.30, so hopefully he can get the job done. But we've had 4 dogs from that draft race and 3 of them have won, so we're just starting off now, and yeah, it's really exciting for next week to give another chance to buy into 24 greyhounds. A little bit of swagger in the way you rolled.
I sensed it, yeah.
Yeah, I like it though. But when you're rolling, like our boy Georgie, you can get away with it. A bit of Donald Trump about the way he's moving. But let's take a look at a greyhound that he had raced at the Meadows on Monday last week. True Detective, what a star he is. Sat second. It's a Group 1 win for you, mate. It's not your first, but well done. It's a big effort to get these greyhounds at a young age, get them to the racetrack, and then land a big one. It must have been a thrill.
Yeah, it was a thrill. We had a little bit to do with the breeding of the greyhounds. We sort of purchased the whole litter, and he's clearly the star. He's turned out to be the star of the litter, and I'm really happy for a mate of mine, Wade Gallagher, who owns him with me. It's his first Group 1 winner, him and his dad Wayne. And yeah, look, the thrill it just involved with my family too. I mean, the days after the talk about it was just fantastic. So yeah, look, you know how much work everyone puts into them, and to get a win like that, it's awesome.
George, what I want to know, I rang you before the race last week. Where were you? You weren't at the track, you're on a family holiday.
Yeah, look,
Where's the commitment?
Cheryl planned a holiday, and I was too scared to say let's cancel that. So yeah, we just went on the coast for a little while, and yeah, look, we cheered with some family members. It was bloody awesome, to be honest, and we had a couple of team members on course that were cheering us home, so it was awesome.
Guess that's what happens when you're training winners. You can just take holidays and do whatever you like. Back to last year's draftees, George, and you were, as I say, heavily involved in this process. There have been a couple of real stars to come out of the crop of 2018 as well.
Yeah, look, we were lucky enough to get the #1 draft pick, Wallbanger, live up to his pedigree. Look, he sort of just started with a bang, winning the Vic Breeders at Geelong in good time. And yeah, look, he's still got a little bit to learn. Obviously, we're watching video of him here. This was a really gutsy win at Geelong. I think he's going to be a pretty handy city-class greyhound, that's for sure. But he's got a little bit to learn. He's still young as well.
He's drawn the red today at Sandown. I've tipped him on top. I think he'll win at the short price. We move along to a greyhound racing at Richmond by the name of Rock Solid. Us Victorians may not know a lot about this greyhound, so tell us a little bit.
Yeah, he's a Mybro Fabio Ronda Rock, so he's the next litter from Seneca, Gwydion, these types. So we were lucky enough to get one out of this breed. And yeah, look, as you can see on video, he stormed away early. He got a little bit tired late, but well, I spoke to Peter Lagagione during the week, and he said he's going to be a pretty handy greyhound, that's for sure.
So if you're watching along this morning and you're seeing some of these fantastic young dogs and thinking, well, how do I get involved in the 2019 draft? Because it is next Sunday. Here is how you get involved. Here's a bit of a breakdown of how it all works. We've got 8 teams, 3 dogs each. There's a chance to buy a syndicate share in any of the teams. 50 by 2% shares are available for just, in many ways, a minuscule cost of $1,200. And of course, we need to remind you, for more information and to read Primary Securities PDS, which you should consider before applying, jump online, the 2019draft.com.au. $1,200. That's all you need to get involved.
Yeah, look, we've changed it up a little bit. We've given 2% shares. Last year it was 5%, so we're giving, hopefully we give more people the opportunity to get involved. And yeah, look, I think there's some really nice pups there. Hopefully they can live up to their pedigree again.
And George, for you, when it actually comes to picking these greyhounds, when does that process start for you, and how does it all work?
Well, we left here offset, and I think I started buying for the next year. Like, it was that quick, because we want greyhounds that are around 12 or 13 months at the start of the draft. So some of our oldest ones will turn a year old in January. So we want to make sure we don't have people waiting too long before they hit the track. So I think that's really important.
Big pause to fill the #1 draft. Wallbanger last year, I think he's going to be an out-and-out real star of the game. I think he's going to win a lot of races. Who do you think, looking at this point in time, may end up the #1 draft of 2019?
Yeah. Well, look, we were pretty excited to get the Barcia Bale Ronda Rocks pup. So again, Seneca's mum. Barcia Bale, of course, has been a champion sire.
You look at that Fernando Bale, who is probably one of the greatest sires of all time, and Barcia Bale's up there as well.
I mean, we're watching Seneca win. I mean, if we can get a dog, he's the same colour, by the way, so hopefully he has the same ability. So, yeah, look, Seneca's an absolute star. He's getting reared at Marty and Camo Hallinen's place, and he might be one that will go close to #1 pick, I'd say.
And just quickly on Seneca, I spoke with Stephen White after he had the tumble last night in the Top Gun. He said that all is well with the greyhound. He was galloping around the yard this morning, seemingly okay. He's not going to race him this week, though. He's going to hold him off the racetrack just to get him vet checked a couple of times to make sure everything is okay with Seneca.
It's good news. It's what we like to hear as well. George, It's exciting in many ways. I guess you're the perfect man to talk about what it's done in the 12 months since. It created a lot of hype at the time, and it's given, I reckon, even the avid greyhound fans, but also the casual greyhound fan, dogs to follow along with from now on.
Yeah, look, we've had some really good communication with new owners. After Rock Solid run, we had 3 guys sitting in a Chinese restaurant saying, "That's our first winner, thank you very much." And they were enjoying a nice red wine. They said it certainly wasn't the flower drum, but they absolutely loved the win. And that's what I get the most joy out of, seeing new people into the sport. We've got hundreds of new people involved, and if we can get that again, we just can't wait.
It's coming up next Sunday, the National Greyhound Draft, going to be very exciting. And who will be the next stars for 2019 and beyond? You can watch it live. There's all of the details. And importantly as well, if you can't get to a TV next Sunday, you can watch it online, facebook.com/National Greyhound Draft 2019.com.au. All of the details are there, and you can join us next week on the show. George, it's going to be a very, very exciting time next week. We look forward to it, and thanks for stopping by today.
Can't wait. See you next week.
He is absolutely flying at the moment, George Farrugia. Fantastic to have him here today. As we head to the break, let's learn a little bit more about Team Cameron and the way that they go about getting their dogs ready for racing.
I got involved in owning greyhounds initially just from having an interest and tried to find something I could purchase. Didn't spend a lot of money, and it was just for a bit of fun with myself and some of my mates. And then I think after that, having a little bit of success, it kind of gave me the bug, and I was always interested in owning some faster ones. So this is Campini, probably one of the quickest dogs we've got at the moment. He's raced all over Australia. He's still not quite turned 3 yet, but yeah, he's definitely one of the fastest dogs in Western Australia and probably nationally as well, if he gets a bit of luck when he's running.
Here comes Campini. He exploded out of the pack and went to second, then followed by 2 times twice, then followed by Danlop Casper. Onto the corner, Campini overcome the bumps. He raced away. Brilliant victory by Campini. Wins by 5.
It's just so exciting watching your dog race, especially when you have a win. I've been lucky enough to win a number of bigger races, a couple of Group 2 races and a Group 3 race along the way. The ultimate goal for me would obviously be owning a Group 1 winner eventually and just continuing to enjoy owning the greyhounds.
Bella, come on, come on, come on.
Yeah, Peter's dogs they're always a pleasure to have here. They're generally always well bred and generally come with good temperaments, which is always a good thing on my end. And they have ability, which is always a handy thing. Now I try and do everything as good as I can, provide them with the best food and the best accommodation. Now they're always in double beds with aircon and rugged up whenever they need be. So I try and give them an environment where I could live in because they're extreme athletes and they need their really good rest. So yeah, they get everything I can possibly give them. I'll leave it to it, mate.
No worries, mate. Catch it. The National Greyhound Draft started last year, and I was lucky enough to be involved in that. And we had the opportunity to pick greyhounds similar to an AFL draft, I guess. And we've been lucky enough to have some success with the #1 pick. His kennel name is Harvey. His race name is Wallbanger, for obvious reasons. He was in the heats of a Group 2 race already. He's only had a number of starts, and he's going very well. He should be an exciting dog in the future. My kids just love coming out to see the dogs. They're such beautiful animals, and the kids come out here and lay down and cuddle them and have a little play with them. Obviously, when we've got big races on, we all go out to the track and watch them as well. The best thing about owning greyhounds is being able to go to the track and watch them race, interact with the dogs, but also just having groups of friends that get involved as well, and doing it as a group's great. So we've syndicated a lot of our dogs, so we own them with bunches of friends, and there's nothing more fun than having a winner with your friends.
You're with the thrill of the chase. Our best bets are still to come on the show, and if you are searching for more information on the 2019 National Greyhound Draft, we urge you to jump online, check out the PDS and get involved. It is next Sunday here on the thrill of the chase. Trent Langscar from the Tab joins us, and looking very dapper, Trent, I must say this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Jack, and it was fantastic to be out at the Meadows last night, and what a fantastic atmosphere it was, and a surprise win, get it, Gizmo winning the Tab Top Gun for the sprinters, but even though it was a little bit cold out there, the patrons enjoyed the festivities on track at the Meadows.
Trent, I hear that hot pink's your colour. I heard a bit of a rumour.
Well, I wouldn't say the hot pick is the... Come on, Trent. OK, well, it was at a point during the night where... Look, we were getting a little bit flat. We were cold. There were a couple of complaints from the New South Welshmen that were there looking after the night, and I just wanted to brighten it up a bit, and I thought, there's a fascinator there, why not try it on? And I think I look pretty good.
Certainly brightened it up.
Because when I think about keeping warm, I think fascinator. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Trent, let's get to matters at hand, the Melbourne Cup field. Let's have a look at how they're shaping at the moment. Just walk us through some of the major players here.
Well, I will say that from what occurred last night with the tab at Top Gun for the sprinters, there were changes to the market. Shimmer Shine, who was so unlucky, did tighten from $9 to $7 and is now the equal favourite there with Hooked on Scotch, who we'll likely see on Thursday night. Who Told Stevie at $9, along with Seniki and Feral Frankie. Going a bit further down, you've got Simon Told Helen and Good Odds Harada at 14. And also Get It Gizmo, who was victorious last night, 21 into 16 there for the tab Melbourne Cup after winning last night.
Out of that top 11, I think 4 of them went around in the $1 Million Chase final. Good Odds Harada, Black Opium, Get It Gizmo. It had it all. Shimmer Shine as well. We see Good Odds Harada win the race, but I think Shimmer Shine is just announcing himself as an out-and-out star of the game. I thought his run in the Top Gun was desperately unlucky. I've already said that a few times throughout the program today. But I think the 9 from 7 is probably a smart move from Tab.
And I think that's what the traders thought as well, James, that they were thinking that, well, probably going to get to the lead, and unfortunately, as you and Liz have identified, was really unlucky not to cross, and who knows, probably wins the tab Top Gun. So they were thinking that 9 and the 7, pretty good opportunity there, and Shimmer Shine there with Hooked on Scotch.
Incidentally, it's his birthday today. He turns 2 today, does Shimmer Shine.
Well,
so
there we go.
he's so young. It's actually quite incredible. I don't mind the $7 on offer here for Shimmer Shine. This is a greyhound that I want to take a look at here, Pindari Express for Tracy Screws. This was his first look at the track the other day. Didn't get all favours during the race. I really love this dog. This is basically Tracy Screws' pet as well. It's a brilliant story behind this. He holds track records at Bill Lane, also Maitland. He came 5th in the $1 Million Chase. I think he's paying $20-something or so for the Futures of the Melbourne Cup. When the place market comes out, I wouldn't mind a bit of a go there.
So I've got the each way on at the moment, so there we go.
Thank you, Trent.
Well done, Trent. He's across everything now, man. Bold Trees. Trent, how's the market looking there?
Well, there was a big change, particularly after what occurred last night with Tornado Tears. Once again, just not too sure what to make of Tornado Tears at the moment. Did drift from at $3.30 to $4 for the Bold Tree. Still the favourite there. Ella Enchanted at 6, along with Boom Down. Boom Down did shorten from 7 to 6 after the run last night. You've got Reedy's Runner and Just Terms amongst those there at 7. And the winner of the tab Top Gun for the Stayers last night, Blue Moon Rising, 16 into 8. I will emphasise that both the Bold Trees and the tab Melbourne Cup, they are pre-nominations market, so if your greyhound doesn't run in the heat, you will get your money back.
And Liz, we're watching the Sydney Cup right now.
Yeah, this was a really good performance here. Blue Moon Rising looked absolutely home. Boom Down. This dog, once again, has flown. He did the same thing last night. I think, once again, I think he could be the value.
Just needs that little bit of luck, as we saw in the Sydney Cup. Just got it at the right time, and you were there that night, yourself and James, and we saw what happened last night, and who knows what could occur at Sandown Park.
Trent, stay there. We've still got our best bets to come. You're all under pressure because Liz smacked you all last week, so she's going for 2 for 2. It is the thrill of the chase. We're going to come back and wrap it up after this. Welcome back to the thrill of the chase. Greyhound racing like you have never seen it before. To finish up the show today, ahead of next week's National Greyhound Draft as well, it's time for our best bets. And, well, Liz, you were superb, so well done to you. The pressure now goes back onto you, James. We start with you. You've got our Victorian bet for today. You need a winner here.
I do. I've gone for a box trifecta at Sandown Park today. I'm struggling to find one winner, so I thought I'd get 3. Doesn't make sense. 2, 6, 8 box trifecta at Sandown Park, 150% for $9. It's a 595 metre event. I think they'll dominate the race from the front. And I hope, I cross everything, that we'll get a winner.
I like that you've gone exotic, that you've just gone a little bit wider this week to see what you can manufacture. Liz, you've got South Australia. Can you go 2 from 2?
I'm hoping I can go 2 from 2. I'm off to race 10 at Murray Bridge tonight. Number 3, Hello, I'm Jay, paying around $3.40 at the moment on tab. I think that isn't bad money. Jumped really well off the 1 last time out, led most of the way, and I think this time she's going to be too good and too strong.
Molly's looking after all of our best bets in WA. Moll, what have you got for us?
Now, I'm just hoping we actually get a runner this time around. I'm going Northam on Monday, race 8, box 8, Burnout Boy. Second start over the 500, so I'm looking forward to it.
And Trent Langscale from the Tab can finish us off. Trent, your best for today, please, or for the week, sorry.
Sandown Park tonight, race 11, number 8, Eyecatcher. Jess Hopkins, a good friend of mine, and it's around the even money mark at the moment, and hopefully he can get the 9th win in the career from 25 starts.
Hands up, who's confident? What, the rest of you? Oh, come on.
I can't be.
Come on.
You've got to have confidence.
The National Greyhound Draft is coming up next week here on The Thrill of the Chase. Jump online for more information. Have a fantastic week, and we look forward to your company next week on The Thrill of the Chase.